Okay, so for any of you wondering how to have a long-term relationship, how to manage a long-term relationship properly, how to make sure that you can date a woman or have a girlfriend without her wanting to leave you, how to make sure that she stays in the right energy so that way she desires to keep seeing you, this video is very important, this video is very impactful, and this video might just be the one that you need to help actually change your dating life for the better. So today I'm going to be showing you how to keep a woman feminine in a long-term relationship so that way she desires to keep seeing you and she desires to keep being with you. And what this is going to do is this will help you unlock her feminine energy. Okay, so when you have good polarity between the masculine and the feminine, both come together and the dynamic is amazing. Okay, so let's dive in step by step. So keeping conversation dynamic solid to maintain the polarity between the masculine and the feminine energy is the key to an entire relationship. If you are going to be seeing one specific woman for an extended period of time, okay, or if you are, let's say, a man who's married, okay, this is what you have to understand. Women's attitude that you get will be a reflection of your character and how you're showing up as a man. So notice, I say showing up as a man, okay? You need to notice how specific I am with the words. I'm not saying how you're showing up as a loyal, loving partner. I'm not saying how you're showing up, as a great chemistry builder or something like that. I'm strictly talking about how you are as a man, your core. Okay, your core being. So this is very important. It's how you show up as a man. So because of that, this video will teach you how a man should act in the first place in order to maintain a good relationship dynamic. Okay, I've been making videos like this for years now, and I've seen so many different stories, okay, of different guys who have been in relationships. And after this many years doing this, I have a very clear understanding of what needs to happen in the relationship and what you need to be aware of. So you need to understand this, okay? Her subconscious, okay, and her hypergamy is monitoring your behavior 24/7. Okay, 24/7, she is monitoring your behavior, okay? So you need to always be on point. Now, this isn't even something that she has to make a decision on, that she's going to be monitoring how you're acting. This is just something that's going to naturally be happening. If she's awake and looking at you and seeing you, she is noticing every little detail. Women look at every little detail. And every little detail determines how they view you and how they feel about you. So you need to maintain personality congruence the whole way through, and you need to understand how to have the right dynamic and the right energy. Okay, so first and foremost, if you're wondering, like, what is the main thing that you have to do? What is the number one main thing that you have to be aware of to have the right energy between the masculine and the feminine? It would be this, okay? It would be passing her tests and holding firm on decisions when she attempts to throw you off center and lead the conversation. I can almost guarantee that you will go through this. Okay, if you are dating a woman long term, you will go through this. I will give you an example of what it looks like. If you can see this one example, you will probably notice a bunch of different micro examples in your relationship instantly when I point this out, okay? Let's say you and her plan to go to XYZ restaurant. So you want to go get some food, you plan to go to XYZ restaurant, and then she agrees, okay? And you want to go there. So this XYZ restaurant, let's say you really want to go there and she agrees, okay? And then as you're driving in the vehicle, last second in the vehicle, she all of a sudden goes, whoa, turn left, let's go to this restaurant instead. She goes, whoa, turn left, go there. This is an example. If you react to her frame in this moment, okay, you will notice a decrease or a dip in attraction. When you can spot these things and you keep driving and you say no, okay, and you keep driving, she goes, okay, and then you guys have a great meal together where you were originally going to eat. This is just one example. You will probably notice a bunch of different micro examples throughout your relationship. The woman that you're dating will constantly try to pull you off center and try to get you to acquiesce to different decisions that you had no intention in going forward with in the first place. And she's doing this to test your character. She's doing this to test your masculine frame. She's doing this to see if you will just agree to what she says because you want to please her. She's going to be testing all of these things, okay? So when you're driving and you say no, and then she goes, okay, now what you'll notice is she's most likely very happy with your decision and happy that you stayed with your original plan, okay? So relationships are not usually smooth sailing. What it typically is it's a constant test to see if you react. So if any of you are watching this and you say, well, how do I just find that one amazing woman who doesn't do things like that? What I would say to you is good luck, because this is a common theme that you're going to notice in your dating life no matter who you're with. Okay, so that's first. If you can just start to spot this one thing alone, you'll probably have more success than most guys that you know. Okay, the second thing that you have to be aware of is this, okay? Seeing where she's gaining leverage over your subconscious to get you to fall into love, which will slowly emasculate you. This is another thing that you have to be aware of, and I'm going to explain. What you're going to notice when you're dating a woman, okay, is women typically do not just follow your lead, okay? What it is it's a constant back and forth pull for leverage. And this is how she starts to slowly gain leverage over your subconscious, is she sees what you're going to say yes to and where you're going to basically default to agreeing to things that you know is not necessarily beneficial for the both of you, just to please her or because she maybe will appear like that's the decision that she wants you to make. So you need to spot where she's attempting to get you to conform to her way of life or identity, and you need to say no. You have to remember this at all times. What you're doing is you're maintaining your core identity and you're maintaining who you were, okay? You're maintaining that same man that you were or that she knew or that she met day one when she met you. What happens is women will oftentimes meet a man and they'll slowly attempt to change him. They'll attempt to change his character or his hobbies or his interests. She wants to start to see if she can get him to change, okay, into somebody that he wasn't. So once again, this is purely a test of character. This is why I'm telling you, relationships are very rarely, if ever, smooth sailing. This is what you're going to notice with female nature, typically, no matter who you're dating. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let me give you a couple examples of what this looks like. Let's say you have to work early in the morning, so you have to leave, and she says, no, stay longer. And most guys, they say, okay. Well, now what happens? They perform worse at work. That's an example. It's a failed test. Another example. Let's say you have to go to the gym. Okay, you got to go to the gym. And she goes, again? And then you say, nah, you're right, I can skip. I'll spend more time with you. These are the things that adds up, okay? And she will always try to see where you will break. Where you will break and what you will say yes to. Okay, this is another thing you have to be aware of. If you have these two columns almost like mastered or really understood, you will start to really shift into her viewing you as more of like a man's man. Okay, this is typically the type of guy she wouldn't want to pull away from or lose in the relationship because he's hard to replace. Okay, most men, their character, it's easy for them to start saying yes to things that they had no interest in doing, and because of that, now she loses interest in you. Okay, so the next thing we're going to address is this right here. Being able to say no, okay, as a man, this is very important. Being able to say no to demonstrate protection, competency, and awareness. Okay, you have your own God-given intellect, okay, which means that you know certain things. And the problem is that most men choose to basically ignore it. They suppress this intellect that they have because they think that it might ruin the vibe with the woman. But let me explain to you what actually happens. When you demonstrate competency and awareness, this is what it looks like. You're being able to spot things in the world that puts your spirit, and hers for that matter, in a weak or a compromised position. So I'll explain to you what that means or what it looks like. Let's say you're going through the day and you notice that the music that's on or the movies, okay, that you're watching, things like that, it seems like it's very, let's say, lustful or just like destructive. Okay, all about like vices or let's say, partying or things like that. Let me give you an example of what this looks like when you demonstrate protection, competency, and awareness. The guy goes, we are turning this off. let's turn this off. We're turning this off. The woman says, why? Okay, and then the man says, because it's not good. This is an example. You have to demonstrate competency and awareness. You have to actually demonstrate that you're aware of your surroundings, where your spirit, okay, or your mindset is being put in a weak or a compromised position. Very important to understand this. What you need is the competency and awareness to signal protection. And most men choose to suppress this. They choose to just ignore it, and they're worried that it will ruin the mood or something like that. When in reality, what happens is day by day, week by week, month by month, she can tell that something's off, and she actually trusts your judgment less because she can tell that the energy is off. This is very important to understand, so listen to me closely here, okay? God gave you the ability to have intellect, okay? Keep that in mind. Intellect and discernment. So you need to use it. You need to use it and you need to be aware. Okay? To give you an analogy, okay, in the story, the serpent chooses Eve for a reason. Okay? So what I can tell you is this: you need to actually use your brain and stay competent, because here's what happens. If you get pulled into her world, it's over. She trusts your judgment less. She sees that you're not aware of these things. And then what happens is, even if you are an attractive man, she starts to feel like something is off. Okay, keep that in mind. So last but not least, this column is also very important. Not being fearful, okay, to upset her temporarily. If you know that you're right about a decision and are willing to do what you need to do. So this is what happens with a lot of guys, is they make the wrong decisions because they think that it will make her mad temporarily. Keep that in mind. But this is what I can tell you, okay? If a woman sees that you'll always put her emotional state first, which makes your decision making worse in the long run, she will not respect you, because she starts to see that when it comes to survival and how you navigate the world, you're doing things incorrectly. Okay, and you're starting to make weaker decisions. So let me give you an example of this, okay? Going deep into conversation will oftentimes turn her off. So what you want to do when you're making decisions is you keep conversation lighthearted and fun, okay? But listen to me closely. If you need to do something or make a decision that is the right decision for both of you, do it with confidence and very little explanation. If she says why, okay, or why do we need to do it this way, you need to just say because this is what we have to do, or because this is the reason. And it's all about your vocal tone. If you say it with confidence and you just make the statement, and she notices that you're not going to bend, break, or waver, her respect level goes up. She wants to see that confidence in your vocal tone. So this right here is an overarching presentation on how to make sure that the man is in good masculine energy and the woman is in good feminine energy, and when they both come together, you have relationship cohesion. What I advise you to do is take this a step further. I created a whole community where you can learn, understand, and master the language of women. I give you step-by-step processes that you can start to use in your dating life to actually get success quicker. Go and check that out. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.